Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanachari. Yamuna Tira Vanacharya. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Vanacharya. Yamunatira Vanacharya. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Giant Lepravishtam Vishnupa Paramahamsa Stotarasata Srimad is Divine Grace Sri Bhakti Vedanta Goswami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Giant Lepravishtam Vishnupa Paramahamsa Stotarasata Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Thakur Prabhupada ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Jai. Prabhupada Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shadvaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Shri Mathura Vrindavan Dham ki Jai. Shri Navadvi Mayapur Dham ki Jai. Ganga Mai ki Jai. Yamuna Mai ki Jai. Tulasi Devi Maharani ki Jai. Bhakti Devi ki Jai. Shri Harir Nam Sankirtan Yagya ki Jai. Girantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Srila Ramananda Roy Disappearance Day ki Jai. Nitai Gora Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vistaya. Hare Krishna. Who wrote the verse?
There isn't one today because it's prose.
Huh?
There isn't one today because it's prose.
This is a prose passage. It's 5:18.
Yeah, 5:8. Because they wrote the number 5. I thought that was the verse to be.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's today's 8.
That's okay. That's fine. Yeah. I thought that was about Hayagriva, and I prepared to speak something about Hayagriva, but that's okay. I mean, since I saw it written, that was from before. Anyway, we're going to read from the 5th canto, chapter 18, text 8. And I'm going to ask my good friend, Dravida Prabhu, to read it.
First.
Chant the mantra. Yeah, chant.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Namo Bhagavate Narasimhaya. Namaste Tejase Avadabhi Bababadana Kabaddangstakar Shayan Randaya Tamo Grasa Grasa Om Svaha Abhyam Abhyamatmani Buhishta Om Kshram. What next?
We should read word by word, maybe?
All right, sure, this is short enough. Om,
Om,
O Lord,
O Lord,
Namaha,
Namaha,
my respectful obeisances,
my respectful obeisances,
Bhagavate,
Bhagavate,
unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
and to the Supreme Personality of Godhead,
Narasimhaya,
Narasimhaya,
known as Lord Nrsimha,
Lord as Lord Nrsimha,
Namaha,
Namaha,
obeisances,
obeisances,
Tejak Tejase,
Tejas Tejase,
the power of all power,
the power of all power,
Avi Bhava,
Avi Abir Baba,
please be fully manifest,
please be fully manifest,
Vajranaka,
Vajranaka,
O you who possess nails like thunderbolts,
O you who possess nails like thunderbolt,
Vajradamshtra,
Vajradamshtra,
O you who possess teeth like thunderbolts,
O you who possess teeth like thunderbolt,
Karma Ashayan,
Karma Shayan,
the maniac desires to be happy
their desire to be happy
by material activities,
by material activity,
Randaya,
Randaya, Randaya,
kindly vanquish, kindly
vanquish,
Tamaha,
Tamaha,
ignorance in the material world,
ignorance in the material world,
Grasa,
Grasa,
kindly drive away,
kindly drive away,
Grasa,
Grasa,
kindly drive away,
kindly drive away,
Om,
Om,
O my Lord,
O my Lord,
Svaha,
Swaha,
respectful oblations,
O respectful oblations,
Abhayam,
Abhayam,
fearlessness,
fearlessness,
Abhayam,
Abhayam,
fearlessness,
fearlessness,
Atmani,
Atmani,
in my mind,
in my mind,
Bhuhishtaha,
Bhuyishtaha,
may you appear,
may you appear,
Om,
Om,
O Lord,
O Lord,
Shraum,
Shraum,
the beej or seed
the bija or seed
of mantras offering prayers to Lord Nrsimha.
of mantras offering prayers to Lord Nrsimha there. Go on.
Keep going. Translation. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsimhadev, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possess nails and teeth just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for a fruit of activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. More?
Yeah.
Purport. In Srimad Bhagavatam 4.22.39, Sanat Kumara speaks the following words to Maharaj Prithu. Yat pada pankaja palasa vilasa bhaktya Karmashayam kvatitam udgatayanti santaha. Tadvandariktamatayo yatayo pirudha. Sroto ganastamadanam bhajavasudevam. Devotees always engaged in the service of the toes of the Lord's lotus feet can very easily become free from hard-knotted desires for fruitive activities. Because this is very difficult, the non-devotees, the jnanis and yogis, cannot stop the waves of sense gratification, although they try to do so. Therefore, you are advised to engage in the devotional service of Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. Every living being within this material world has a strong desire to enjoy matter to his fullest satisfaction. For this purpose, the conditioned soul must accept one body after another, and thus his strongly fixed fruitive desires continue. One cannot stop the repetition of birth and death without being completely desireless. Therefore, Srila Rupa Goswami describes pure bhakti or devotional service as follows. You can sing along if you know. Anyapilashita shunyam jnana karmadhyanavrtam anukulyena krishnanu shilanam bhaktiruttama. One should render transcendental loving service to the Supreme Lord Krishna favorably and without desire for material profit or gain through fruitive activities or philosophical speculation. That is called pure devotional service. Close quote. Unless one is completely freed of all material desires, which are caused by the dense darkness of ignorance, one cannot fully engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Therefore, we should always offer our prayers to Lord Nrsingadev, who killed Hiranyakashipu, the personification of material desire. Hiranya means gold, and Kashipu means a soft cushion or bed. Materialistic persons always desire to make the body comfortable, and for this they require huge amounts of gold. Thus, Hiranyakashipu was the perfect representative of materialistic life. He was therefore the cause of great disturbance to the topmost devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, until Lord Nrsingadev killed him. Now, here's the money quote. Any devotee aspiring to be free of material desires should offer his respectful obeisances to Nrsingadev as Prahlad Maharaj did in this verse.
Jai, wonderful. Thank you, Prabhu. Davida. Very nice. Your reading is so nice, you know, the pronunciation and perfect. Wonderful. So, I would like to ask you to, every time I give class, if you can do the same. Yeah, it would be great. Hare Krishna. Om Jnanati Mirandasya Jananjana Salakaya Chaksharum Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. I was born in the darkest of ignorance, and my spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, opened my eyes with a torchlight of knowledge. I offer my humble respectful obeisance unto him. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So this is a prayer offered by Prahlad Maharaj. And Srila Prabhupada is advising any devotee who wants to be free from material desire should recite this prayer to Lord Nrsingadev. Well, it's very interesting that and the purport Prabhupada is speaking about not just, there's a verse in the Bhagavatam, Sanat Kumara speaking, that he's speaking about the toes, not just the lotus feet, but the toes of the lotus feet. What that means actually is a person, you know. Your feet have toes, that means you're a person. It's not impersonal. That's the main idea of this verse, that the Lord is never formless. He always have a transcendental, beautiful form, which attract the mind of all the devotees. Even the liberated souls, Atma Rama Chamunayo, they are also attracted. The perfect example is the Kumaras themselves, and also Shukadeva Goswami. When they became attracted, as soon as they hear about the glories of the Lord, they immediately became attracted, because they were not Mayavadis, they were Brahmavadis. So there's a difference between Mayavadis and Brahmavadis. Both are impersonalists. But Lord Chaitanya said Mayavadi Krishna Paradhi. Mayavadis are offenders to Krishna because they think that Krishna's form is material. And devotional service is a material activity. And devotees are a bunch of sentimentalists, you know. without much knowledge. So to defeat all these wrong ideas, the Lord appeared in His transcendental form. We just recently celebrated Nrsimha Chaturdasi, the appearance of Lord Nrsimhadev. And this pastime of Lord Nrsimhadev is very instructive in so many ways. No? One thing is that Nrsimhadev appeared in such a way that without contradicting any of the blessing of Lord Brahma, he was able to kill Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu asked not to be killed by anything alive or dead. Isn't? That was one of the blessings he asked for. And that's why Lord Nrsimhadev used his nails to kill him. Because the nails, you can say they are not alive because if you cut them, you don't feel any pain. But you can't say they are dead because they grow up. So they are neither alive or dead. So it looks like a very tricky way to kill Hiranyakashipu. And wasn't really a weapon. Made by anyone. When Lord Varaha killed the Hiranyakashipu brother Hiranyaksha, he also got a blessing, Hiranyaksha got also a blessing. And he mentioned all living entities. He only didn't mention the boar because he thought such a lowly creature, he can never harm me, So he mentioned everyone but the boar. So that's why Hiranyakashipu was more, conscious that he has to ask no beast at all, any beast at all. No demigods, no demon, nothing. He mentioned everyone. He said, I'm covered from all sides, Nobody can harm me. But when he broke the pillar and the Lord Nrsimha appeared with a human body with the head of a lion, he was like, what? What is this creature, Is this Vishnu tricking me or something? So there was a big fight, of course. Hiranyakashipu had all the mystic powers. In all the Siddhas, there is a planet called Siddhaloka. They are born with all the mystic powers. But when Hiranyakashipu took over the universe, he absorbed all their mystic power. They lost their mystic powers. All the demigods lost their mystic powers. Only he had all the mystic powers. So that's why he could control them very easily. They were very much afraid of him, So Hiranyakashipu was surprised that his son Prahlad wasn't afraid of him. He said, he told Prahlad, by just my moving my eyebrow, all the demigods start trembling. But you're a small child. You're not afraid. How was that? He was very surprised. And he tried to kill him in so many ways he couldn't. So he was asking me, from where you got all this power? From the same source you got your power. There is only one source of all power, and that's coming from the Supreme Lord. You're talking about the Supreme Lord different from me. I'm the controller of everything. Actually, Hiranyakashipu wanted to become Brahma, He thought like that, I may become, the next kalpa become Brahma, But anyway, Prahlad said, my God is everywhere. He's in the pillar, yes. So, that also shows us that the Lord always fulfill the promise of His devotees. Of course, God is everywhere, and it's through His energy. No? Doesn't mean we worship the wall because it's no, we worship the deity. That's the proper way to do it. That's the authorized way to do it. Although they may be made from the same material, stones, whatever. No? But Krishna appearing as Lord Nrsimhadev, he wanted to show his anger. The Lord have all the feelings we human have, including anger. But the Lord used his anger only when his pure devotee's life is in danger. Otherwise, he will not show his anger. Doesn't need to. Doesn't want to, unless his pure devotees are in real danger. No? So because Prahlad was gonna be killed by his father, he took a sword and chopped the head of his son. I mean, imagine a small child. His father gonna kill him because he was a devotee. That's all. Nothing else. But the Lord always protects his devotees. No? Kauntaya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. Krishna told Arjuna, tell the whole world, my devotee will never vanquish. So that's Krishna's promise. For all time. So devotee have full faith in Krishna's protection. Of course, according to their degree of surrender to the Lord. Of course, Prahlad Maharaj was pure devotee, fully surrendered to the Lord. No? Now, after killing Hiranyakashipu, and thus freeing the universe from this big demon, all the demigods were very happy. No? They were in ecstasy, They regained their kingdom. They were showering flowers on Lord Nrsimhadev. Nrsimhadev still was angry because the soldiers of demons, Hiranyakashipu, were attacking him. So he also, with his fingernails, killed all of them. Still he was angry at the demons. He was roaring, Not even the demigods will dare to approach him. Not even Lakshmi, the goddess of fortune. She never saw such a form of the Lord. She herself will not approach him. So all the demigods pushed, although they offered prayers to the Lord, all the demigods, but the Lord wasn't pacified. They pushed little Prahlad, you pacify him, you was the cause of his appearance. You are the only one who can pacify him, So Prahlad started offering beautiful prayer. This is one of the prayers Prahlad offered to Lord Nrsimhadev. And after that, the Lord was pacified. He took Prahlad, put it on his lap, and started licking his face, like a lion lick his cub, So, and Nrsimhadev felt so much Vatsalya Bhav, fatherly love toward Prahlad. And Nrsimhadev thought, I can't exchange this love with my father because my father is a pillar. There is no way to exchange any feelings there. So from now on, in my next avatars, I'm going to accept father, mother to have this Vatsalya Bhav, Because he experienced that with Prahlad. So he wanted to experience himself, but in the role of a child himself, of a son, to his devotees. So after that, he appeared as Ramachandra and had father, mother, and all other avatars like that. So, then Prahlad Maharaj asked the Lord, my dear Lord, although I was born in a family of asuras, how is that I got the opportunity to become your devotee, your servant? I have no qualification. I'm low-born, bad association, everything. And Lord Nrsimhadev told him, in your previous life, you was a Brahmana, but you married a prostitute, and you was very fallen. You was very fallen. And one day, you had a fight with your wife. Apparently, she was cheating on you. So you had a big fight with her. And early in the morning, you went to the forest very angry at her and wandering in the forest, very disturbed in mind. And suddenly, you saw a lion chasing you. So you was running for your life, And since you was Brahmana, you thought about Lord Narayan, please Lord Narayan, protect me from this lion, this danger. And you was running for your life, and the lion was roaring and chasing you in the forest. And you're trying to remember the form of Lord Narayan, but you will look back and see the roaring lion and the two things mixed up, and suddenly you was meditating on me or like Lord Nrsimha there. And in the forest, you saw an abandoned temple, and you hide there from the lion, and that was my temple, an abandoned temple of Nrsimha in the middle of the forest. And you stayed all day, night, and you found your wife there. She also was wandering through another path in the forest, also disturbed, and she also took shelter of that temple. So both of you all night were not sleeping, didn't eat or drink anything, and you were talking about me. How was you saved from this danger by the Lord mercy? So, and that's why, and that day was my appearance day. Lord Nrsimha appear in different ages, not just only once. I remember many years ago, I visited one temple of Nrsimhadev in South India. Srila Bhakti Sundar Saraswati Thakur established the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya on the path to that temple, on the stairs. Like you have to go 500 steps up in the mountain to visit that temple. And the temple is inside a cave. They just put doors on the cave, but it's a cave actually. And I remember going there with His Holiness Japataka Maharaj and a few more devotees, of course. We were on a tour, visiting holy places. And we saw there was a figure of Lord Nrsimhadev in the deity form. And amazing thing, Prabhupada mentioned that also in Chaitanya Charitamrita, that the pujari was filling up a conch shell with the liquid. That liquid was gourd with water, Gourd with water, gourd is a sweet, mixed with water. And throughout all day, he will offer to the mouth of Nrsimhadev. He will empty the conch shell inside the mouth of Lord Nrsimhadev. And you can hear the sound, gluk, 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 somebody like swallowing, Really. And after emptying all the conch shell, you can see all the conch shell completely empty downward. And then he will turn it like this, and Lord Nrsimhadev accept half and return half. And he will fill half of glass with that Mahaprasad. In front of your eyes, you can see this miracle, The conch shell completely empty. And when he turned it there, comes back half of the offering. Prabhupada mentioned that in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. And that deity is called Pana Nrsimha. So we saw the arti, we saw everything, and went out. The pujari closed the cave. And I saw Japataka Maharaj speaking to the pujari. And he was like moving his head, yes, yes. And he called a few of his godbrothers, me included, like 5 of us. He said he's going to give us a special darshan just for us. He doesn't show everybody this. So we entered the cave back again. He closed the door behind. And he moved the deity of Nrsimhadev. And behind, on the wall of the cave, there was very sharp teeth, mouth with a very sharp teeth, and 2 symbols next to it of the chakra and the club, the gada. And he explained to us that Nrsimhadev appeared in this mountain and killed 2 demons who were harassing the brahmanas who were doing yagyas. They will come and throw contaminated thing on the yagyas and creating a lot of disturbance. So they prayed to Lord Nrsimhadev. And Lord Nrsimhadev appeared then and killed those 2 demons in that mountain. So Nrsimhadev may appear in different times, different ages, and for different pastimes also, And before Nrsimhadev left, he self-manifested this mouth with big teeth, And the Pujari explained to us that in different ages they will offer different things. In Satya Yuga was ghee. Then in Treta Yuga was yogurt. And then in Dwapara Yuga was milk. And since Kali Yuga they are poor, they can only offer gur water. Because they have to be offered all day long, throughout the whole day. Buckets and buckets of this liquid, no? So when he was pouring this conch shell, was going actually through the mouth and the wall of the cave, You don't know where it was going, but the sound was there, He was swallowing it, like that. So the Lord is amazing, and all his activities are wonderful. And just by hearing them, one gets so much spiritual happiness, no? So it's very clear here that unless one becomes a pure devotee, free from material desire, it's not possible to go back home, back to God. That's simple. That's simple. So all the process of Krishna consciousness is to help us get free from material desire and develop spiritual desire. I mean, we can't be desireless, because to have desire is a symptom of to be alive, So the Buddhist idea to be totally desireless doesn't actually work, because it's a symptom of being alive, But we have to dovetail material desires to purify them and use them in the service of the Lord. Then we become desireless, Or only desire will be just to please Krishna and to satisfy, the Lord through our humble attitude of service, of pleasing Him. So, Prahlad Maharaj, of course, he became devotee in the womb, actually. But there's a story also in the Padma Purana that say when Hiranyakashipu went to do tapasya, austerities, to gain his power, the demigods took a form of two birds, and they stood in a branch of a tree nearby Hiranyakashipu. And while Hiranyakashipu was trying to concentrate, his mind and austerity, the birds were chanting Narayan, 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 and he became disturbed. Hiranyakashipu became disturbed because he's enemy of Narayan. He could not tolerate. He wanted to kill the two birds, but the birds flew away. But they stopped his meditation. So he was frustrated. He was very frustrated. He went back to his wife, to his palace, the name of his wife was Kadru. Yes, Kadru. And of course, when he was frustrated, and so he wanted to have sex with his wife, and while doing that, he was remembering the birds chanting Narayan, Narayan. He was repeating himself, Narayan, Narayan, Narayan. And at that moment, he conceived a child. And because he was chanting the name Narayan, the great son Prahlad was born. Of course, and then, of course, the child needed more instructions, so Krishna sent Narad Muni to preach to him in the womb. No? The child when he's 7 months old in the womb, he can listen, he can hear the sounds. There are scientific proof of that also. Anyway, unfortunately, I heard recently that the government is allowing abortion even to a few weeks before delivering the child, which is a horrible crime, isn't it? But this is Kali Yuga. What can you do, It's horrible. So, today is Srila Ramananda Roy disappearance day, would like to mention, of course, something about him also. He's a great pure devotee of the Lord. When Lord Chaitanya was going to travel to South India, Sarvabhaumacharya asked him, please meet Ramananda Roy. Although he was born in a Shudra family, he's a great Pandit, Mahapandit, great scholar, great devotee. Please meet him, it's very important. Yes, of course. So Lord Chaitanya went there and took his bath in the Kaveri River. And he was sitting there. And suddenly, Ramananda Roy came in a palanquin. He was the governor, of Madras, other provinces. And he was accompanied with musical, performance by musicians, and Brahmana was accompanying. He was, although Sudrabhas was a very important personality, governor. So, and then he saw Lord Chaitanya and came and offered his obeisance to him, being sannyasi, and he saw him radiant with like many suns, he was, and then when they saw each other, their ecstatic love was manifest, because Ramananda Roy actually is Vishaka Gopi. And Mahaprabhu, when he saw him, he entered the mood of Radha. Oh, here is my dearest friend, Vishaka. So they both hugged, and they were rolling on the ground. All symptoms of ecstatic appeared in their bodies, they're crying and shivering and changing colors and all the ecstatic symptoms. The Orthodox Brahmin were watching this. They were like, wow, what is this? They're totally confused, because they said, oh, the sannyasi looked very, very shiny like the Brahman effulgence, And how was that he became so emotional by hugging this Shudra, He should not touch a Shudra. He's a sannyasi, And how is that our governor, he became so emotional by touching this sannyasi, He usually is very composed and very sober. And they, when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the Brahmana, then he stopped his, external manifestation of ecstasy, and he started to talk to Ramananda. Are you Ramananda Roy? And they start wonderful conversation. Is there in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada wrote a book called Ramananda Samvada before coming to the West. Devotee discovered that book in the Radha Damodar temple later, years after. No? Or Gadadhar Singha Maharaj published the book. Wonderful book. Wonderful, yes. Very nice. So, the father of Ramananda Roy, he was previously Maharaj Pandu, the father of the Pandavas. And his wife was Kunti Devi. So that's why sometime it is said that Ramananda was Arjun. But actually he is the Gopi Vishaka. What happened is that when he was governor, some influence of Arjuna was there. It's not like two souls in one body. It's not like that. But the influence, the bhav, some bhav was there, from Arjuna's side, to be a governor, good Kshatriya. And very famous pastime, very controversial pastime of Ramananda Roy was that he wrote a play called Jagannath Vallabhnataka. Very beautiful, wonderful play, full of pastimes of Radha and Krishna and the gopis. And he was training two Devi Dasis, dancing girls, how to enact the pastime with their dance, So he was teaching them how to do it, because the play was written by him, so he had to train them personally. But besides just training them how to dance and gesture, he was also massaging their bodies, bathing them and dressing them and everything. Which was a little unusual, because at that time there was restriction between men, women close association, Even devotees sometimes get confused. I remember one lady devotee asked this question, why Ramananda Roy was doing that, Why not a lady was massaging and touching the girls? Why being a male, why he had to do it? The reason is very confidential, actually. By touching them, Ramananda Roy, being a Gopi Vishaka, he was not disturbed at all. He was not in a male consciousness. He was in a Gopi consciousness. So he didn't feel any disturbance, any loss at all. Even Lord Chaitanya praised him, saying, if I see a wooden doll, the form of a woman, my mind gets disturbed. But Ramananda Roy is so advanced that even touching, he doesn't get disturbed at all, So of course, we can't imitate Ramananda Roy, that's for sure. We just appreciate his great advancement, his amazing, service to the Lord, Even one of the associates of Lord Chaitanya get confused when he saw him doing that, because Lord Chaitanya sent him to learn about Madhurya Rasa from Ramananda Roy. And when he saw that, his mind get disturbed. He came back, why you send me there, But Lord Chaitanya sent him back. No. You don't know the position of Ramananda Roy. Go back and after the devotee heard from Ramananda Roy, he was enlightened and he was very grateful. He came back to Lord Chaitanya and asked, him to forgive him for doubting Ramananda Roy's position, So the reason he was training the girls personally, he wanted them to imbibe the Gopi Bhav, So by touching them, he was transferring his Bhav, to them in a certain way, because he wanted them to play the part of gopis perfectly for the pleasure of Lord Jagannath. Because previously the dance was done in front of the deities for the pleasure of the Lord, not for everyone, like nowadays, but was mainly in front of the deities. Of course, other people can see also, but the main idea was to please the deity in the temple, the service of the Lord. So that was the whole idea, So very controversial, actually, the pastime of Ramananda Roy. But then we learn about its glories, We should always remember that Lord Chaitanya's personal associate are eternally liberated soul, Nitya Siddhas. They are not under the law of nature like we humans are, They are not influenced by passion or ignorance or material goodness even. So it's nice to remember today Ramananda Roy's wonderful character and activities. And the conversation he had with Lord Chaitanya is amazing. We should read it today. It will be very nice to read that today, But he was talking about he started speaking about Varnashram, for human beings, they should follow this. And Lord Chaitanya said, that's external, speak more deeply. And the conversation went on and on and on, and came to the highest level of love between Radha and Krishna. And at a certain point, Lord Chaitanya put his hand on his mouth. Don't speak more about this, That's too high, for people to know about this. Anyway. And Lord Chaitanya asked Ramananda Roy, what is the greatest fame in this world? And Ramananda Roy said, to be known as a pure devotee of the Lord, that's the greatest fame. Sometimes people become famous because they are good musicians or politicians or actors or this or that or scientists. But that fame is temporary. It's nothing real. It comes and goes. But to be known, famous as a pure devotee, that's real fame because it's everlasting. Once you're pure devotee forever. And then also Lord Chaitanya asked him another question: what is the greatest pain in this world? And Ramananda Roy replied, the greatest pain is to be separated from a Vaishnava, to feel separation from a Vaishnava. That's the greatest pain. Of course, that's a transcendental pain. That's called viraha, feeling of separation of Krishna and his pure devotees. It's not a material pain, it's transcendental. Transcendental happiness may look like pain and suffering, but it's actually ecstasis. And the Chaitanya Charitamrita has explained that ecstasy is like drinking a very hot cane juice. It's very sweet. You can't stop drinking it, it's so sweet. But at the same time, it's very hot, burn your tongue. But you can't stop drinking it because it's so sweet. So ecstasy is like that, Burn you in the sense you feel the separation is a great, hankering and all kind of emotions that are described in the Nectar of Devotion. So we should aspire to one day experience some of these spiritual feelings for the Lord and His pure devotees, Sometime Krishna may give us a little drop of that experience so we become a little attached to it and want to have more, We should become more eager, We should have more lobha. Lobha means greed, spiritual greed. Spiritual greed. That's very nice. Please take the mic.
Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati Kriyatam Yadikatopi Labhyate Tatta Laulyam Api Mulyam Ekalam Janmakoti Shukatayana Labhyate.
Translation?
Yeah. The absorption of the mind in Krishna Bhakti Rasa is, you should purchase it in the marketplace. But you have to have the right price, and the only price is your greed for it, laulium.
Yes.
You may go performing material pious activities for millions of births, so you're not going to get it. You have to get the greed for this bhakti rasa. And Prabhupada said that first line is the origin of Krishna, the phrase Krishna consciousness.
Yes, he took it from there actually. Thank you, Prabhu, for sharing this wonderful verse. Just by hearing it, I became emotional. Hare Krishna. Haribol. Any other comment, questions?
Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Yeah.
We have a question pending on the Zoom.
Yes, please.
Yes, Maharaj, may I?
Please do.
Maharaj, my humble obeisances. My question is, how is it possible to become fearless in a place where there is danger at every step?
Yes, padam padam yavipadam natesham. There is danger at every step in this material world. In order to achieve fearlessness, we have to take full shelter in the lotus feet of the Lord. Then only we can be fearless. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, in his prayer, is I'm fully surrendered to you, my Lord. You can kill me or protect me. It's up to you. So devotee know, Mare Krishna Rake Krishna Mare Ke. If Krishna wants to protect you, who can harm you? And Krishna says you must die, who can stop it? So it's everything in Krishna's hand. We have to be afraid of Maya, not of anything else. Losing the body, you have to lose it anyway one day. So why be afraid of that? We should be afraid to forget Krishna at the time of that. That is good fear, So we should try to be fearless by taking full shelter in the lotus feet of the Lord and pray always for His mercy and protection. Protection from forgetting Him, from Maya, Material protection of the body is not so important, actually. Because the body is going to die any day, anyway, one day. So why pray for something that's going to end anyway? Yes.
Just to add one thing about that. The very verse today has this phrase, "Abhayam abhayam atmani bhurishta," that is prayer to Lord Nrsingadev to destroy all the material desires, as accompanied by the fearlessness. In other words, that's the prerequisite. If you're in the bodily concept of life, you want this, you want that, then you're always going to be frustrated and fearful, because that's what's over.
Yes.
But if you're actually absorbed in Krishna consciousness, just like Prahlad Maharaj, not only wasn't he feeling any pain, but he wasn't afraid.
Yes.
That was what really freaked Hiranyakashipu out. You're not afraid of me, you know? And because he felt completely protected by the Lord, because he's totally absorbed and surrendered.
Yes, he was fully surrendered, pure devotees. The Lord protects everyone, of course, but especially his pure devotees, you know, and because they are fully surrendered to him. So yes, the verse explained that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. By your mercy. You know? And how we can get the mercy of the Lord? By surrendering and loving service. You know, we attract that mercy. To attract the mercy of the Lord means we have to be like emphasizing our negative side, that we are in need, you know. We are helpless in this world. We shall feel helpless and no other shelter than Krishna. Then we get the mercy of the Lord and his protection. Very good. Any last question? Very good. Thank you very much. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol.